hopeless Celia, you make us see a life that's pure and full of glee. I should probably learn the words to my own song, actually, shouldn't I? With a life that is so true, every day feels fresh and new. Something like that, innit? That song is nuts, it's so good. But do I think AI is the future? I don't know. I mean, I was getting gaslit. I was getting gaslit by Jeopardy. I was getting gaslit by Jeopardy last night when I was really, really tired. I just wanted it to help me. I wanted it to help me with some zombie AI. Speaking of which, let me have a look. Where are we at? Zombies are new and improved. We have improved zombies. Why are they improved? Oh, they're much better, but they could be better still. I have one major beef with the zombies right now. Open. What are you doing? Just play the game. Play the game, Unity. Also, I managed to fix the project. Remember when everything was broken last night? How did I fix it? I don't know. Here's how I fixed it. I reverted back to the previous save. I grabbed the code from the new save, pasted it into the previous save, fixed a couple of other issues, and then I renamed the project again. This time I didn't delete the library. I deleted the cache in app data, and then I rebuilt the library through the menu rather than deleting it in Explorer, and everything works. So it's just Unity being Unity. And the weird thing about it is that there was more issues caused by that than I realized, because there was things like, I was looking around the map and like trucks were missing wheels and things like that. So I don't know. It's bizarre. Okay, we're in the graveyard, but I already killed the zombies. God damn it. I need to start a new game. Okay, I need to start a new game. Anyway, the biggest beef... Oh, it just takes ages to keep getting here, that's all. My biggest beef with the zombies now is that... I sort of... Well, it's kind of weird, right? Because I don't know why they changed so much, but I reduced their colliders. Because the colliders were a giant pain in the ass. They had too much collision. They couldn't get close enough to the player. They can now grab you, by the way. So the colliders are a lot smaller on the zombies now. We have each zombie has 2 colliders. We have actually 3 colliders. Yeah, 3 colliders. We have a trigger collider which detects snowballs. We have a non-trigger collider, which just acts like a normal collider. And we have the target center collider, which helps my auto-aim system. Ooh, that's a little bit... I'll tell you what, this zombie's packing. Look at that. This zombie is packing. What do you plan to do with that? What do you plan to do with that big box of yours, little Mr. Zombie? Why is it protruding from your groin like that? Look at that red arrow. He's got a right little red arrow. He's got a right little... chubby arrow going on there. That's disgusting. I don't think the rotation of that collider really matters all that much, though, to be completely honest. Anyway, they are significantly better than they were before. I also tuned some of their numbers. So now, like, the follow distance is 20. Like, these would be, like, easy zombies, right? Follow distance of 20, move speed of 3, grab speed of 3. But we can obviously make them... I was going to say we can make them harder, but this guy's hard enough. Ha ha! A little penis joke for you first thing in the morning. Hope you appreciate that. Okay, let's see. What are we doing? Yeah, my main issue is... Okay, so when 3 zombies... When you stand here, for example, right? The 3 zombies all move towards you and they take the shot. They take like a direct line approach. So what happens is these zombies converge, right? So if you're stood here, what you'll find is just before the zombies are ready to grab you, or even if you do let the zombies grab you, they've kind of converged into one. Which makes them less of a threat, right? Because, like, one snowball hits all three of them at once, and then you just kill all three zombies with one snowball. And they've converged into one. So I need to fix that. And the weird thing is they weren't doing that before with the bigger colliders, but there's no logic on here that takes colliders into account. So here's my zombie script at the moment. And I take it has an on trigger. It must have an on trigger on here as well, right? Wait, no. He's got an update and on enable. Oh no, I remember the okay. So the on trigger, yeah, the zombies on trigger is handled by NPC Collider. Okay, I'm curious what Jibbity thinks we should do about this. Let's find out what Jibbity thinks we should do. Because there's a couple of ways we could deal with it, right? I mean, one way we could deal with it is by doing some like rare casting. But the problem with rare casting is which direction do we get the first of all, which direction do we rare cast in? We could do a little spider rare cast that checks all like, you know, like 8 directions or something like that. Unity also has like an AI. It has like a kind of built-in AI like pathfinding thing in it. But the other issue is this map doesn't hardly has any collision on it yet because I'm saving that to last, right? And so I don't want to discover that things work great when there's no collision, and then when all the collisions in place, everything falls apart, because that would be terrible. Yeah, I don't think I want anything too sophisticated. So there's 2 things I want to make sure that don't happen. Can we just test these zombies if I leave them on right now, even though we're not at that save state? No, because they'll be disabled because we don't have a zombie tracker. And the zombie tracker, although they are looking to grab right now. But I can enable them, actually. Let's just try enabling them. I'll just stand as far away as possible for now. Oh no, they enable themselves. Yeah, you see what they're doing? So they sort of converge. So I need them to keep like a... I need them to not try and take each other's space. Yeah, also we can't be grabbed right now because the zombie tracker's off, which might be a good thing actually. But yeah, they kind of occupy each other's space, right? They converge. Like these guys here are sort of converged together, right? So I want to create a little bit of distance between those zombies. And also I think I could probably lead them through collision. Let me check. They seem to not respect collision, even though they do have colliders. It's kind of hard to test this. I need them on that side of the fence. Ah! Okay, then I need to... Yeah, see, these ones just went straight through that fence. That fence has got collision on it. So he shouldn't have been able to do that. So those are the two things I want to fix, right? Zombies shouldn't be able to, like, merge through collision. This guy's, like, stuck. He must be, like, stuck in that collider or something. But there's another one that made it through. Yeah, I think the reason they do that is because they don't get a chance to reset their grab cooldown because we don't have a zombie tracker active right now. And so they're just not resetting their state when they go in grab. They should though, right? Do I just need to go far enough away from them so they reset? Yeah, no, it's because they don't have a zombie tracker right now. So the zombie tracker is what tells the zombie that it's okay to, like, reset its cooldown, and then it can go back into, like, following you. So at the moment they all get stuck in their grab state and they don't reset fully. Pretty sure if I turn the zombie tracker on. Where's the zombie tracker for this graveyard? It'll be on the objective. Kill zombies. Wait, kill zombies too. Oh, we already lost it. Yeah, it's already deleted because we already. It was the objective before the one we're on. Because I already killed the zombies. You see, these aren't really supposed to be here. That's why. Yeah, I do wonder if the target center is a little bit too low now. It was too high before, but I think now it's too low. Could do with being shifted back a little bit as well. We can still hit them. Oh, that's bouncing off the fence. That's kind of awkward. He's stuck in the fence, isn't he? Yeah, that could potentially be a game-breaking bug, actually. Yeah, I definitely need to handle collision better. But to be fair, it should be easy enough without messing with things too much. I could just grab... I'd have to open all of these up, though. Well, if we grab one zombie as a test case, here's what we should be able to do. We should be able to grab this collider. Hang on. Push it back a bit. Bring it up a bit. Rotate it a little bit. Basically get it wherever we want it. But then I would need both position and rotation. It's kind of awkward. So there's position. There's rotation. Actually, it would be easier, I think. I mean, there's not that many of them here. I can put more in later. This is going to get way too messy. I just need to put more back in again. I'll tell you what, let's just get rid of every zombie except these three. That's that guy. I don't know why Unity jumbles everything up like this. We should keep them in the right order. It's gonna be zombie, zombie 2, and zombie 3. Where's zombie 2? That's actually zombie 1. It's kind of weird. He's also not a prefab, like he's like unpacked for some strange reason. Zombie 3 is not even in the mix. So it's zombie 1. It's got to be zombie 2. Oh my god, where is zombie 2? There's zombie 2. Zombie 1, zombie 2. That's like the 3 of them in a row. Alright, just get rid of all the others for now. Zombie was the one that I was editing, right? Yeah, the one in the middle. So if that was the position of the target center. Oh, let me think. Well, it should work, right? Because these are local. These are local coordinates. So that should be respective to him. That should be respective to him. Yes, it is. And then the rotation is also local. So if we grab that one and that one. Paste. Rotation. Right, now these 3 zombies should have colliders in the same positions now, respective of like up near their neck. Yeah, they kind of do. They look like they still kind of need to be rotated a little bit. I don't think rotation even comes into the calculation, to be honest. So there's lots of ways of dealing with this, right? Like another way of doing it is by measuring distances and not actually using colliders. So like the zombies could track their distances from each other, and then basically when a distance becomes too close to another zombie, it basically just like turns around and goes the other way. But then you see that in like bad AI in games sometimes when like, you know, it's a quick and dirty way to stop them from sort of occupying the same space as each other. But at the end of the day, the problem is, right, they're meant to be moving towards you as a player. So if they suddenly turn around and start walking away from you because they got too close to another zombie, well, that breaks the whole mechanic of them like coming after you, basically. And then you need a way to reset that as well. So I'm curious what Jibbity says we should do about it. Let's see what Jibbity has to say. I'm curious. I don't know. I think this is getting a bit complicated for Jibbity now. Like Jibbity's just starting to come up with all kinds of, at least the last night it was, come up with all kinds of stupid gaslighty approaches to things. So I couldn't get the zombies to grab me last night, and some of its suggestions were like completely fucking ridiculous. I ended up having to like fix it myself. I'm like, wow, this thing is so hallucinating right now. But yeah, you have like good days and bad days with Jibity. That's the thing. Okay, let's see. Keep it as simple as possible. We'll share the code with the move function. Let's just see what it comes up with. Zombie, zombie. Mr. Zombie. Okay, so we have our follow play function. Which is triggered by our little state machine here. So we'll share these two parts. Otherwise, I think it gets a bit blindsided by everything else that's going on in that script. Let's see what it says. Oops, probably shouldn't have showed that. I was researching naughty websites for a friend. Right, let's see. I'm not going to buy Netflix for one show, am I? It's not even on Netflix. I think it's Apple. I'm sure Apple will be able to afford to pay the electric bills this month. Let's just start a new chat, I think. Good morning, Jibity. You're looking very large and languagey today. Like a big fat language model. Add separation logic. You can calculate a separation vector by checking nearby zombies and applying a repulsion force to spread them out. Well, they are rather repulsive. Is that what you do, Jibity? Is that how you keep Siri away from you? It's not a bad idea. She's just such a skank, isn't she, that Siri? She's just always trying to get you to leave your wife and send her dirty photos of yourself and stuff. She's such a little skank. You can calculate a separation vector by checking the advisor. Okay, let's see. What's it done? Direction to player. Now, I never said there was a rigid body. You better not be using rigid bodies. Vector 3, direction to player. Collider array, nearby zombies equals physics overlap sphere. Transform position. Oh, that's quite interesting. Explanation of code. Separation force. The separation force pushes the zombie away from its neighbours if they are within a certain radius. I gotta be honest, I never would have thought of that. Okay, that's quite interesting, because it seems almost too good to be true, though, right? Is it really that easy? Is it really that easy, Jibity? Let's find out. You make it sound so simple. But you made it sound so simple last night, and everything you told me was wrong. It's utter bullshit. It's utter garbage. Utter garbage you were spewing last night, Jibity. You were still putting comments trying to explain how everything worked as if you knew what you were talking about. And it was absolute garbage. Absolute bullshit. It's not working. Yep, they still can. In fact, I'd say they converge into one more than ever. Didn't work at all. Zombie is not defined. Tag zombie is not defined. Wait, what? They were tagged as zombies. Yes, they are. Oh, it's got a capital Z. Okay. So Jibity put a capital Z on. It's always capitalizing my. It's always trying to capitalize me. You're just trying to pimp me and sell my sexy ass. That's what you're trying to do. Honestly, Jibity. If you had a daughter, you'd just sex traffic her out every day. You would. You're just such a little bitch. You're always trying to capitalize on everything. He'd be selling timeshares to his daughter's ass. That's what he'd be doing, Jibity. It's disgusting. Right. I mean, they kind of got stuck in their little... I'm actually stood on their heads. They actually got stuck in their little grab state before they fully converged, so it's hard for me to know whether that worked or not. I guess what we can do to test them is if we set distance grab, we need to stop them from going into their grab state, I guess, then. So if we set distance grab to 0 for now, it wants to be 3. Everybody remember it was 3. No, they still convergent to 1. They're literally in one space right now. That's 3 of them all overlapping each other. Didn't work. Didn't work at all. Was that supposed to be the whole solution, Jibity? So 1.5 says adjust radius as needed. Let's just see if changing it to 4 actually changes anything. The ID sounds good, but okay, they seem to be... No, it doesn't work at all, does it? Like I think it only looks like it's working at first because they already start off with like a distance from each other. And so they already move like maintaining that distance. Because basically, like in a singular direction, they maintain that distance that they started out with. But then if you like sheepdog them and you sort of get them to change directions as they rotate, they quite easily converge into one. Oh, push me, zombie, push me. Oh yeah, zombie, take me on a ride. Take me on a ride. Where you taking me, zombie? Where are we going, zombie? Alright, let's shout at Jibbity. Yeah, nav mesh, this is one thing I was considering, but it's like, the problem is that could tremendously backfire, and I think it's a little over, like, it's too much. It's more than what I actually really want. More advanced avoidance, you should use Unity's nav mesh system, which includes built-in local avoidance. Implement Boyd-like behaviors, alignment, cohesion, and separation for more organic movement. Boyd's-like behavior, alignment, cohesion, and separation. It might also be because all the physics is happening on NPC Collider though, right? Ah, look at this. Okay, so the NPC Collider isn't tagged with zombie. Only the parent was. So actually, we might not have seen what was supposed to be happening there. Let me try it now. Because I was thinking, well, I thought it would automatically tag the children, but it didn't. Well, that affected something. Okay, they moved down through the ground. So maybe like it's just a direction alignment problem. Yeah, so we need to make sure that the colliders are set to... So first of all, let's put it to its suggested 1.5. Yeah, but also, okay, when they move away from each other, they move down through the ground. So let me just explain that. When the zombies move away from each other, they sink through the ground. How can we move them in the correct direction? Okay, the reason they sink through the ground is because the separation force includes a vertical component causing them to move up or down instead of staying level with the terrain. To address this, you can ensure that all movement calculations are restricted to the horizontal plane, ignoring the y-axis. Okay, let's do that. Okay. That's actually... I'm actually quite impressed with that. That's actually... I didn't think I could just modify the single movement chord and sort of create that kind of effect. This might be enough for what I want. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. I just want to try and reduce the odds of them converging Or stop it altogether if I can. And ideally if they don't walk through like fences and stuff like that. Once we add collision. Oh, for fuck's sake. Capitalize my Z again! Why do you do this, Jippity? But now they're not moving at all. Oh, they're moving back away from me. world's most timid zombies. That actually makes them challenging in a completely different way. That's an interesting effect though. Because I actually wanted to I actually wanted like a purple zombie that did this basically, so this might be worth keeping this code actually. I actually wanted a purple zombie that kind of runs away from you and you've got to chase after it basically. Now it becomes like a pain in the ass trying to figure out where. Well, they're definitely separating away from each other. Yeah, the fence is in the way. Oh my god, this is such a pain in the ass. Wow, these zombies are like a million times more difficult to deal with now. But not for the reasons you would think. Because they're literally scared of you. So why are they running away from me? I'm not tagged with zombie. I shouldn't be. Where's my player? Player. Player should be tagged with player. Player is tagged with player. I don't know where he went. Where did he go? I literally lost him. Oh my god, I literally lost him. Is he in this building? I literally lost him. I don't know where he went. I've actually lost him. So if I wanted to make zombie hide and seek, this is definitely the way to do it. I literally lost him. I don't know where he went. Unless I accidentally killed him, like, pissing around. I don't see him anywhere. Let's have a look. Is he still alive? No, there's only the one left. Yeah, somehow he died. There's only the one back over by the graveyard. There he is. He's dead now. Okay, so now our problem. I swear to God, it feels like Jibbity just tries to find every single way it can wind you up as much as possible. Okay, now, despite the player tagged as player, the zombies move away from the player. They need to continue pursuing. Is that how you spell pursuing, or is it pursuing? I think that's right. They need to continue pursuing their meaty protagonist. That sounds weird. I am weird. Okay, they need to continue pursuing whilst avoiding merging with each other. How can we address this? Fucking hell. Alternative to terrain adjustment, use terrain. Hit ray casting. Well, the whole game, to be fair, the whole game is pretty flat. I'm not really too worried about vertical adjustments at this stage anyway. Introduce weighted force. Modify the final movement direction to balance the player chasing force and the separation force with appropriate weights. Small Z. Yeah, it already has the played distance anyway, right? Okay, let's see what this does. There's far too much green on this. Too much green. There's more green in this code than there is on the fucking zombies. Right, come on, Jibity. I don't. Well, I am. I was going to say I don't want to be here all day, but I'm going to be here all day. Regardless, but I don't want to be working on this problem all day. Well, they just stood still. So they clearly spotted me because they turned around to look at me. Nope, they're still running away from me. They Michael Jackson moonwalk their way back away from me. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jibbity. Why are you so stupid? Jibbity, why are you so dumb? It's like this does the opposite of what I want it to do. This makes them insanely and like unbelievably annoying as well. Jibbity, you're making me so mad. You're making me so mad. Stronger pull towards the player. Gentle push away from others. You could have fooled me. Also, is that like too big? I'm not using terrain. Your assumptions that I'm using terrain, like, I'm not using terrain. You make so many assumptions, Jibbity. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, this just does not fucking work at all. This does like the opposite of what I want it to do. Congratulations, Jibbity. Once again, you managed to fucking like just make the problem worse rather than better. Why do I even fucking ask you anything at this point, really? Like, I was just thinking, like, look, they already have colliders and triggers on them, right? Can't we just make it so that, like, if they hit if they collide on from a certain direction, they just stop moving in that direction, but they continue in their other directions. That's kind of the behavior that I want. So basically, if a zombie nudges another zombie on the right side, then it just stops moving right. It's like, oh, I can't go any further right. There's a zombie there, so I stop moving right, but I continue moving forward. Right. Even when turning zombie weight down to 0.1, it seems to make no difference. They still now slide backwards and spread out from the player and no longer pursue them. What I'm looking for is a simple avoidance left and right where if a zombie nudges another zombie, on its left, it stops moving left and continues its other pursuing forward motion, and vice versa. Is there a way to get the trigger to report which side the trigger occurred on, so we can limit its left and right movement based on neighboring zombie? Here's my NPC trigger logic. Yeah, I don't think Jibbity's going to help. I think Jibbity's going to be a little bitch today. It's just going to make everything harder. To achieve the desired behavior where zombies avoid each other by moving left or right without compromising their forward pursuit of the player, you can use a simple trigger-based detection system. The idea is to determine the relative position left or right of the other zombie when a trigger collision occurs. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, and adjust the movement accordingly. Here's how you can implement this. On trigger stay, if other tag is zombie, we're using small Z, you little bitch. Okay, on trigger enter. So this is a different trigger condition. So this is on trigger stay. This also only wants to apply to zombies though, right? Although I suppose this would just make this would just make NPCs move away from You know what else I just realized as well? I think that zombie follow play script, because we don't tell it to move the parent. Although I think it does. I'm wondering if my zombie motion this whole time has been happening on the child level and not the parent level. The problem is my trigger logic isn't on the same fucking script as the zombie. Logic. Whereas you're assuming, Jippity, that it is, and it's not. But we could make avoidance. Right, so basically what it's saying is come up with an avoidance. So let's go back to my zombie logic. It's saying come up with an avoidance variable on the zombie logic. Let's just put it there. And then when we adjust avoidance, this is going to need to be a public. This is going to need to be a public function because we need our trigger script to call this function from the collision script. The problem is this is a trigger script for NPCs as well as zombies. So I also need to say and this dot tag and this compare tag is zombie. Then we need to get the component. So let's take a look at our zombie. So the trigger is happening on the trigger collider script. So that's this one. So our zombie is the component in parent of zombie 1. So we need to say get component in parent zombie 1 adjust avoidance. Get component in parent. Right. So now we're sending an avoidance adjustment to the zombie 1 logic publicly through the trigger collision script. And our new follow player function looks like this. What are all those errors? Okay. Hello, Pika. I didn't see you there. Welcome to Cabby's Computer Week in School. Oh God. Not really. It's just me. It's just me showing the showing my progress. See, I'm not like, to be a teacher, you've got to know exactly what you're doing all the time. I'm still really a student myself. Yeah, no, that doesn't fucking work at all. They're just back to doing what they were doing the whole time. Nothing's changed. They're back to converging. God damn it! Why can't we just have them avoid each other? Like, seriously. So that didn't work at all. Is this function even working? Yeah, you see, this is not teaching, all right? Don't get it twisted. I just don't want people thinking that that's what I'm trying to do, because they'll be like, "Wow, worst teacher ever." Like, no, I'm not trying to teach people. I'm trying to document my Not that that can't be helpful. Sometimes it can be helpful to see how other people are doing things, but I am still like figuring things out as I'm going along. But there's a couple of reasons I do it. Like one reason is just so yeah, maybe people can still like get something out of it, like learn something from it. Because I know some stuff, right? But I don't know everything. But also it's like it's just a good way so that I can point to a game that I've made, and if people are like, "You didn't make that," I can be like, "Oh yeah, well, watch me make it." You know what I mean? I've got it's more like a documentary on or a diary or whatever, a development diary, so I can point to it and say, "Yep, I made this," and if you don't believe me, I live streamed the whole thing. Yeah, so those two zombies converged there still. What are we seeing in debug? We're not seeing, okay, the weird thing is we're not seeing that convergence happen at all. We're not seeing the code happen at all. Okay, so basically this is no effect because we're not seeing the debug message in the adjust avoidance script. So that means we're never ever... So all of these NPC colliders are tagged as zombie. So are we never meeting this condition? I mean, there is one simple solution for a situation like this. If I want a group of 3 zombies, we could actually group them together so they constantly maintain that distance from each other. So we could literally like move them as a group. But I don't know, I think it'll look a bit cheesy. Yeah, so we're never meeting that condition for some strange reason. Is that because I said and compare this tag as zombie? I feel like the on trigger script just isn't like the Unity function of on trigger state just isn't firing in this scenario. That's what I think is not happening. I don't think it's a condition issue. I think it's just that trigger isn't like it's not happening under these conditions. Because the colliders are a little bit small. Yeah, you would think if they were going to trigger at all, though, they'd be triggering now because they're like literally on top of each other now. So I think Unity's on trigger condition isn't firing at all. So let's move my debug.log to outside of the if statement and see if it shows up at all. I don't think it is. One day you could become a computer teacher once you've gained enough knowledge in computers. Yeah, I could, but I don't think I'd want to be honest. I don't think I don't really have a passion for teaching. The problem with like, it's kind of hard to explain because like this is kind of like it would be. I guess a good way of saying it, right, is it would be a bit like saying that someone who likes to make nice meals, right, like a gourmet chef, would want to teach being a chef. I don't think like I don't think you necessarily would, right? It's like because there's so many vastly different ways of doing things. For me to want to be a teacher, not only would I need the knowledge, I'd also need to be convinced that my way of doing things was the correct way of doing things. But I actually think the opposite. I always think there is no right way to do things. Essentially, like it's more of a, what is it they say about cooking? It's more alchemy than it is, it's more an art than it is a science. It's more an alchemy than anything else. And I think the same thing about game development. There's obviously, okay, there's a lot more technical things about game development that, you can either get right or wrong. Yes, I was correct. Those triggers aren't working at all. So on trigger stage, it isn't happening. Oh, I know why. It's because they've got no rigid bodies. Oh, yes, of course. They need rigid bodies for triggers. Do we want to use gravity? Yeah, I suppose we probably do, right? This is where they'll fucking fall over or whatever. Do they want to be kinematic? Let's just see what happens if I set them to default settings. Oh, they kind of moved. Did you see the way they moved then? Yeah, they're still merging though. One kind of moved around the other one, but I don't know if that was like, yeah, they still merged into one though. I don't know, kind of. No, they are kind of separating again now though, right? Like, okay, two of them merged together. But these two now are like refusing to merge. Whereas before, once they merged, they stayed merged. So it seems like this is actually working up to a point. But for whatever reason, like maybe like two of the zombies, it's like we need to look at all zombies and not just one zombie. Okay, that's kind of interesting actually. That's starting to work, I think. Okay, this is starting to work. But here's what happens. Two of the three zombies merged into the same space. But the remaining two zombies now successfully avoid each other whilst pursuing the player. Could it be that the on trigger was handling 2 zombies at once, and one therefore got ignored. Causing the first merge. If so, how can we handle that? Okay, this is starting to work, but here's what happened. 2 of the 3 zombies merged into the same space, but the remaining 2 zombies now successfully avoid each other while pursuing the player. Could it be that the on-trigger was handling 2 zombies at once and one got ignored, causing the first merge? Yeah, it's possible that on-trigger stay method is handling 2 overlapping zombies simultaneously, and one gets ignored or its avoidance logic isn't properly applied. This can happen due to the order of trigger events or because the avoidance factor is being overwritten in a single frame. To handle this, you need to accumulate all avoidance factors during a frame instead of overwriting the avoidance factor directly. Normalize the final avoidance direction so the zombie doesn't overreact if multiple avoidance forces are applied. Step 1, use an accumulated avoidance vector. Instead of a single avoidance factor, maintain an accumulated avoidance vector that combines all avoidance forces during a frame. Normalize it afterwards for smoother behavior. Okay, so we're replacing our avoidance factor with an accumulated avoidance vector. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because we're using a vector 3. So instead of using... So basically what we were using before was a single dimension of a float. Now we've got 3 dimensions of floats to work with, right? So we can have like up, down, left, right, backwards, forwards, and all that jazz. Okay, I like where this is going. So we're going to change our avoidance factor with the avoidance vector. Our on-trigger stay is now modified on the NPC collider. It won't take into account the changes that I made to it though. So I need to make sure that my other compare tags is corrected. Does this include the trigger? Yeah, it does. So we need to say lowercase z and other.compare tag. No, this one isn't other. This.compare tag is also zombie, because this script handles NPCs as well in the game. And then here we need to say get component in parent. Zombie 1 accumulated avoidance, and then we've got to make that function public. We're missing a closing bracket there, and then on follow player we have new code. I don't see the function for accumulated avoidance plus minus. Okay, so this time we're not using a function, we're directly accessing the variable itself. So what we need to do is we need to make this vector 3 public. And then we no longer have an adjust avoidance method. It's still saying zombie. Oh no, there we go. It's fixed itself. Right. Alright, let's see what that does. Once I'm done traveling up my character's level, weapons, talents. If I do beat world level 6 ascension quest. How is that an if? If! Peak of that game is so easy. You could beat those with like the free 4 stars that you get. The game is so easy. The only time it ever got even remotely difficult is if you tried to oh, look at that. Oh my god, look at that. Look, they're avoiding each other. They're not merging anymore. I mean, they kind of are though. It looked like it was starting to work. Fuck! It looked like it was starting to work, but then, like, I sheepdogged them back into one fucking mergence. Oh, I swear to God, this is so frustrating. I was so sure we had it there. Because they looked like they were actually trying to avoid each other. But it was really easy to just, like, basically go around them. And then they got confused. And just ended up merging with each other anyway. Like, it's like, I think this works when they're, like, in their initial direction. Now they're merging now. Yeah, the only time it was ever hard is I remember there being a situation where, like, if you didn't because it's expensive to level characters, isn't it? So basically, as soon as you went up a world level, if you tried to do like no, all it was is if you tried to do the next ascension quest 10 levels behind, so you hadn't actually gotten caught up to that world level's character level, then it got kind of tricky. It did get a little bit tricky. But as long as you made sure you were at the maximum level you could reach at that world quest, it was easy. No, they're still merging into one space. Ah! So I guess what I need to know is I need to know what the accumulated avoidance is. Oh shit, I had it as a public as well. Not gonna lie, this is kind of frustrating. So they're accumulating avoidance now. We're seeing some numbers in there now. So something's happening. Maybe, okay, maybe, you know what I think it is? Okay, yeah, I think I know what's happening. Okay. I was wrong. It seems to be working the way I thought. It seems to be working correctly for left and right merges, but it's much easier than I thought for them to merge at the front and back. Especially if the player moves around them. Can this avoidance include all directions, since I was wrong in my assumptions? Because I think it is working in the left and right, but if I really think about it, that's kind of what I asked for, right? So maybe we can just make a slight adjustment to this so that it includes all. I was wrong. It seems to be working correctly for left and right merges, but it's much easier than I thought for them to merge at the front and back, especially if the player moves around them. Can this avoidance include all directions, since I was wrong in my assumptions? To prevent zombies from merging in all directions, front, back, left and right, while pursuing the player, you can generalize the avoidance logic to handle any nearby zombies' relative positions. Yeah, I think this is right. It's like I kind of had to lead it into a different area, into a different way of solving the problem. But like, if we can just basically include all directions. So that's the same as it was before. Our untrigger stay now is different. So we need to say lowercase z, and we need to say and this dot compare tag lowercase zombie, and then we need to say get component in parent zombie 1 accumulated force. Okay, then we need, which one was that? Follow player is now also different on the zombie 1 script. Okay, let's see if this works. I really hope it does. Because what's nice as well is now they have like gravity with a rigid body, so essentially they should kind of adhere to the terrain, like well, there's no terrain in this, but like the floor, because the floor does slightly change heights here and there, but they'll like conform to the floor a little bit better. They're still fucking merging. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Like they're basically merged on top of each other, and all of the avoidance data is set to 0, 0, 0 right now, which it shouldn't be. They should be trying to actively avoid each other right now. So the question is, why? Did I make a mistake in my trigger? No, we've got compare tag. Zombie. Yeah, I also need to say here, instead of saying transform position, I need to say transform.parent .transform.position. We should really be moving the parent instead of just the child. That's not why it's not working though. I don't think so. Let's just see if that changes anything at all. Once I'm done leveling up my character... Oh, I already read that, didn't I? They're bending their heads while they're moving too. They're supposed to be, that's part of their animation. They're zombies. They're like... they're supposed to be doing that. That's not a mistake. That's not a bug, that's a feature. This is a bug. She's like a bug. What the fuck? They just disappeared off the face of the earth. Okay, what the fuck? So changing their position to go... They're over there now, aren't they? Did I just see them over here? What the fuck? Okay, that's weird. So there must be a discrepancy between where I'm moving parent and child. You know what? Let's just put the original code back in, because it was actually kind of working. Right, okay. Let's go back. I'm going to mute this out. What I want to know is why... Why was the accumulated avoidance vector not being updated? Is trigger state even firing? Are we back to it not firing again? All of these have rigid bodies, right? Rigid body. Rigid body. Rigid body. Okay. One hour and 25 minutes. And I haven't made a millimeter of progress. Yeah, so the trigger stays working. Even now the trigger stays working, so why is the avoidance not working? Right, so we know the trigger stays working. So we know that this condition is happening. I'm going to change this condition to zombies overlap and put it within the zombie tag. And if this is still working, then there's something wrong with the avoidance code. Zombies overlap, zombies overlap, zombies overlap, zombies overlap. Right, there's something wrong with Jippity's code. Wait, it's not though. It's not. Wait, it's not updating now. It's like once they actually overlap each other to this degree, the trigger's no longer active. What the fuck? So zombie overlap isn't firing off right now. Well, that's weird. So I don't know. I just. I did test it up here a second ago, but I don't know if I really was paying attention when they fully merged, whether that was still happening or not. Because my tags aren't changing, so the tags shouldn't make any difference to that. They're on trigger staying all the time. So that doesn't help me. Like, why are they on trigger staying now? They must be like, it must be the fucking ground. They must be triggering with the ground. I bet it's the ground. So I might need to put the ground on a different layer. Floor. Does anything break if I put floor on ignore raycast? Well, layer has ground. Okay, so we're adding a layer mask. To the on trigger. Wait, why is my debug still saying flaw? Oh my god, I'm ready. I'm ready to fucking kill somebody. If other game layer mask, name to layer ground, return, skip further processing for ground objects. So are we saying that if I put this, so it's still, there's no way to stop it causing the trigger? Because what I'm thinking is like, how does this Unity function work? Will it handle multiple objects? If 6,000 objects are in your trigger collider on one frame, do we get 6,000 trigger events all individually firing off? Or does it just receive one per frame? That's what I'm worried about. Because if we only receive one per frame, then the ground's just basically stealing the show for every single frame. But if we get 6,000 trigger events on 6,000 objects on each frame, well then, yeah, I guess we just... Yeah, okay, that stops the debug from reporting that one. So this will tell me whether, when the zombies merge, a trigger is happening. So the collision happened with NPC Collider, NPC Collider, NPC Collider. But now PP Road, that sounds so funny, PP Road. Let's take a walk down PP Road. Measure our PPs together as one. Let's take a walk down PP Road. Okay, I need to put PP Road and all this other shit on the ground layer, I guess. Ah! I'm going to be here forever. Have you seen how much fucking ground there is, though? Like, this fucking game, if I have to manually tag every single fucking floor tile in this game, it's going to take me a month. I don't think that's even the thing that's stopping it from working, but it sure does it sure does flood the console, and it makes it hard for me to see what's going on. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. So this is my concern. So they're now merged into one zombie, right? And this is the thing I'm trying to avoid from happening. This should never fucking happen. I just killed one of them, which makes this even harder to test because I keep accidentally killing them. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. All I'm trying to do is figure out when they're on top of each other and they're merged, which should never happen. Are we still within the trigger stay condition? Because if we're not, then no matter what code I put in there, it ain't going to do a goddamn thing. Because if we're not hitting that condition, then I can't do anything about it. And even just trying to figure that out is just like mission impossible right now, because there are 6,000 billion colliders all around us that are just interfering with the process. And so I'm just getting every other collider reporting that it's triggering, which is making this really hard to debug. So we're getting it now, but they're not fully overlapped right now. But also, it doesn't look like it's happening on every frame. Here's what seems to be happening, right, as far as I can tell. What seems to happen is the closer they merge to each other, because now they're like literally in exactly the same space as each other. They're completely overlapping each other. And I'm not getting any trigger state updates in the console. It's not updating at all now. So it's almost like the closer to each other they get, the less that trigger stay condition happens. So any corrective code and any corrective maths that we're trying to apply to it, well, I've got no fucking hope in hell in relying on Unity's on trigger stay function if it just doesn't fucking trigger it. So right now I'm far enough away from the zombie, but the zombie should still be triggering itself with its other overlapping zombies, and it's not. So why the hell is that? Why is that not triggering right now? There are literally 3 zombies overlapping each other right now. All 3 zombies are in exactly the same place. So why is on trigger not detecting them? I swear that fucking some of Unity's systems, like physics systems and stuff, are absolute fucking garbage. Do I need to change... Ah, we've got layer overrides here, actually. So I can exclude ground. That doesn't make any difference. Wait. Look at this. What the fuck? That's why it's not triggering. Look at that. What the fuck? Oh, this is what I was worried about. The colliders have separated. The zombies are merged. The colliders are separated and laying down. What the fuck? That's gotta be rigid body that's made them fall over. It has to be. Okay, at least now I know why it's not working. The colliders have separated and fallen over. Jesus Christ. This is so fucking frustrating. So exclude layers ground. Let's just say don't use gravity and is kinematic, and let's make it continuous. What does exclude on rigid body do? What? I don't even know what that means. You're basically saying what? Bypass all physics on these layers. Now, oh, we are getting trigger colliders. Oh my god, I think it's actually working. I think we just need to, yeah, they're not completely merging anymore. They're sort of slightly separated from each other. Now we just need to increase that amount of separation. Right, it's finally working. Oh my god. So what was happening is the colliders were falling over and separating from the zombies. So all the physics calculations were happening away from the actual zombie itself. So they thought they weren't colliding even though they'd merged together as one, because the colliders had separated from the zombies. So you can see now it seems it's kind of impossible to merge them now. But we need a greater radius of distance. So we can increase the trigger collider radius on those. So if we grab this trigger radius setting here, so right now it's 0.57. If we make that 0.9, we should get a bigger degree of separation. Again, oh my god, I can't do it! I can't click in the fucking window. Who came up with this system? I want to know who came up with that harebrained fucking system, right? Where you have to click the game window to give it focus again. And of course, like in 99.9% of games, the left button is actually going to do something in the game. So by retaining focus in your game, you do something you don't mean to do. And it makes debugging like so fucking difficult. Because again, I just accidentally killed one of these zombies because the left click also throws a fucking snowball and it's got auto aim on it. And it's just, oh, it's making this whole thing so frustrating. Right, let's have a look at these colliders. Let's remember what the original radiuses was on them. 0.57, I need to remember that. Right, in theory, if I increase the radius of the trigger collider, because the trigger is what measures... I don't know though, is it? The trigger is what measures other colliders, but the other colliders is the non-trigger collider. So if I want to increase distance, I don't know whether I want to increase the trigger collider. Well, let's test it. What I always like to do to really know, let's change this to a ridiculous number, 3, and see what the result is. I don't think that's actually going to increase the distance that they stay away from each other, because a trigger collider will detect a non-trigger collider entering it. Trigger colliders don't detect each other. So increasing the range in which... Yeah, I suppose increasing the range in which other colliders are being measured within it should increase the avoidance distance though, right? I don't know. To me, they look closer than they did before. Now, see, now they're fucking merging more than they were before. See, I can't increase their normal collider much more than this, right? Because if I increase their normal collider more than this, the zombie can't get close enough to me to grab me because their fucking collider's too fat. So I can't increase the collider too much more than what it is now. But yeah, I mean, short answer, right? Changing that radius from 0.57 to a bigger radius did not increase their avoidance distance from each other. In fact, if anything, it looked like it had the opposite effect somehow. God knows how. Now, I suspect that increasing the radius on the normal collider will achieve a bigger avoidance distance, but that creates the new problem of now the zombie can't get close enough to me to fucking grab me. So, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? But maybe, okay, maybe in the code here there's some... Maybe in the code there's some amount of, like, avoidance. Yeah, maybe I don't need to change any of these. But anyway, okay, so that was trigger, right? So this one was trigger. And this one is non-trigger. So this is the original radius of the non-trigger of 0.33. If I set that to 1, it's going to fuck everything up. Because the zombie's going to be so fat. His collider's going to be so fat that you're going to be bumping into him where he doesn't exist, for one thing. And also the zombie's never going to reach the player closely enough to grab them. And so it's gonna break that mechanic. So even if this creates a bigger distance of separation, which I think it is, I don't know, not really. They look about the same as what they were before to me. Okay, maybe this is good news. What's really weird is the collider radius seems to make absolutely no difference whatsoever to the avoidance distance. So I'm going to put it back to its 0.33 because I was happy with those settings. Shit, I just changed the wrong value. Okay, so radius is back to 0.33. So now I just need a way to increase Okay, we are getting there. We are getting there. You can expose the avoidance distance factor as a serialized field in your zombie script so it can be adjusted in the Unity Inspector. Well, no, what you don't understand, Jibbity, is I'm using the avoidance distance on my NPC Collider script by getting the components. Oh no, that's accumulated avoidance. That's a different variable. Okay, that is a different variable. Do we even have this variable right now? No. Yeah, but if this needs to... Where is this variable being accessed though? Avoidance distance. I'll just make it public. I don't know why it wants to serialize it and make it serializable. Right, so on the parent zombie script now, I'm not seeing it. Right, so it's defaulted to 1.5 right now. What are we, 2 hours? 2 hours to solve this problem. To be fair, I'll be happy with that. It's been a painful 2 hours though. But 2 hours actually isn't that bad, I guess. But it's been a rough 2 hours. I mean, that seems okay. So let's see if this works. If we change the distance now and say that we want them 3 away from each other. Yeah, that might be better actually. Yeah, that does look better. Alright, that's actually pretty cool. Now they don't merge with each other. That is actually pretty cool. You know what? That's actually really, really cool. We can tweak it a bit more. What about 5? He's still coming after me. Get away from me! What if we make it 5? See what I mean about the snowball? You gotta... So now it's set to 5. There's no way there's 5 away from each other. Are they? Maybe they are. Yeah, 5's even better, I think. Oh shit, why are they not dying? Oh shit, something's made them invincible now. Fuck, why is that? I don't know why that is. Oh shit, are you fucking kidding me? It's always the same! You fucking solve one problem and some other fucking problem shows up. I'm gonna set that to 5. Okay, that seems to be working pretty well. But now for whatever fucking reason... It broke... It broke me detecting the snowball. Hitting them. Oh my god, are you actually fucking kidding me with this shit? We should run it again. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Yeah, we can't kill them now. When they get hit by snowballs, they no longer detect it. Right, what changed? If other name contains snowball and transform parent name contains zombie, set the state to die and fucking kill the fucking zombie. It's just not fucking working at all, is it? What did I do to the colliders? I excluded ground layers. Layer override priority. I don't even know. Maybe just try taking that out. Right, if I remove that from the ground layer thing. I also added rigid body and stuff though. Could adding a rigid body have broken the snowball detection trigger? I don't know. Fuck's sake, this is so ridiculous. Right, does the avoidance still work with ground layer excluded? I mean, yeah, I don't think that fucking distance variable is working at all, though. They still seem to be as tightly packed as they were before, but it's better than them merging. So at least it is somewhat working. They still can't be killed. They still don't detect snowball hits. They still have a trigger collider. Everything's set back to what it was. Is the rigid body somehow fucking it up? The rigid body doesn't even have an on or off. You can't even remove the rigid body. I mean, we could remove it during play mode. I removed the rigid body. Don't even think about hitting it with a snowball when I click in here right now. Okay, good. But yeah, actually, because didn't I accidentally kill a zombie? Right, it's not the rigid body. What the fuck is breaking it then? Because something like recently killed a zombie when I didn't even mean to. Right, removing the rigid body obviously killed the avoidance problem. It killed the avoidance solution. So what? Oh my god, what is stopping it now? Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Okay. So it suggests changing the snowball. No, that already was an on-trigger enter. Debug the collision detection. Add some debug log statements to verify if on-trigger enter is being triggered when the snowball collides with a zombie. You've hit your free limit. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm at my limit, alright. I'm only 2 hours in and I'm at my limit. Oh my fucking god, this is so frustrating. It's just houses of cards stacked on houses of cards stacked on houses of cards. You move one fucking card and everything comes toppling down and everything just fucking breaks. It's always like this. But my god, it's fucking frustrating. Yeah, it's just not fucking doing it, is it? So on trigger enter never ever happens from the snowball. The only thing that's now triggering on trigger enter is the zombies themselves with each other. But why? Right, let me just run through some things. Right. Snowball never triggers an enter. only zombie colliders with themselves. Here's what I changed during avoidance. Added a rigid body to the zombie. No gravity. Kinematic. Needed this to detect other zombies. With trigger. Well, that's basically it. I didn't do anything else. All the radiuses are set back to what they were. I certainly haven't changed my snowball prefab. Yeah, I literally haven't changed anything else. But removing the rigid body doesn't restore the snowball collision detection. It's like, what is happening? Add a rigid body to the zombie child collider, to be more precise. No gravity, kinematic. Needed this to detect other zombies with a trigger. Where's my snowball prefab? Where the fuck do I put my snowball throwing script? Play character. Yes. Snowball prefab. Snowball prefab. Layer default. Tag untagged. Sphere collider. Rigid body. I haven't changed a fucking thing. Nor do I want to. Because it was working fine. Until we added this fucking zombie collision bullshit. Now I would have guessed. My first guess would have been that the on trigger stay was interfering with on trigger enter in some way, and so we're just not able to do both in the same script or some fucking thing like that. But we're clearly getting a ton of on trigger enters from the NPC collider, so that's not the case. Also, why are we getting components in parent? Capsule Collider components in parent on the zombie. Isn't it on the child though? Because the trigger script runs on the Capsule Collider itself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that shouldn't say get components in parent. That should just say get components. I mean, that's not the reason it's not working, because we're not even getting this far in. But yeah, looking at that now, I think that should have been get components. Again, I think that's Jibbity making assumptions because I'm getting the animator component in parent. I think it just assumed that the Capsule Collider was also in parent, but it's not, it's on the child. So you assumed wrong again, Jibbity. No wonder none of my fucking game works. The only other thing I did is I changed the tag of the zombie to be zombie. Yeah?
Just letting you know I'm going out for lunch.
Yeah, I thought it would be.
Alright.
Yeah.
You don't want to come?
No.
Sure?
Yeah, I need to get this done. It's never going to get done. But changing the tag to zombie shouldn't change anything to do with the snowball collision whatsoever. Oh my god, why won't this work? Why won't this work? It just doesn't, Jesus, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, let me try changing zombie tag off, because that's the only other thing that's different. I can't see why that would make any fucking difference. But something's got to be stopping it. So originally they would have been untagged. Made zero fucking difference. Like, they literally bounced off his fucking head. Right, I'm going to restart Unity. Things just are not making fucking sense. This is, I can't believe how frustrating this is. Like, how is this broken? It's just like, I haven't changed anything. I added a rigid body to the collider for the zombie because I needed it to detect other zombies. And I added a zombie tag to zombie. No, zombie already had a zombie tag, but I added the zombie tag to the child one with the collider because the child didn't inherit the same tag as the parent. That's literally the only two things that have changed. Removing the rigid body doesn't fix the bug. Changing the tag back to default doesn't fix the bug. So, like, what the fuck? Oh, this is so frustrating. I can't believe how frustrating this is. Like, I finally get them to stop merging with each other and it just completely breaks all of my fucking snowball mechanics. What the fuck? Give me my console. It just, oh my god, this just isn't making any sense. This is not making any sense. It's just not triggering Unity's event trigger at all. It doesn't even trigger the event. The only logical fucking conclusion I can come to, which it doesn't make any sense, but if I take the on-trigger enter out completely, does it start working? Because I'm still convinced, because that's the only other thing that's new, right? So, like, what else am I supposed to think? It's got absolutely nothing to do with it. Which is maybe good news. Which is kind of maybe good news. Because like when I find the problem, it probably doesn't mean that my zombie avoidance system is the like my. It seems like the zombie avoidance system isn't the thing that's broken. This something else has broken it. I have no fucking clue what it is. Right, the only other thing that makes logical sense, right? Okay, there is one other thing that could be happening. Is if somehow the trigger collider has become smaller than the zombie's main collider. Because what that would cause to happen is the zombie normal collider would push the snowball out from the zombie before the snowball gets a chance to trigger with the trigger collider. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, Jesus Christ, I wrote the numbers down. They're in my notepad here. Like, I put them back to whatever they were. So that doesn't make sense either, but it's the only other thing I can think of. So let's open these zombies up. So we've got a radius of on trigger of 0.33. Yeah, the capsule collider has a radius of 1 radio. Yeah, I don't think that was correct either. Where the hell were my original radiuses? So there's the collider for the zombie. Well, I don't even know. See, this is the other thing that's really confusing about it, right? Where does the geometry come from for Mesh Renderer? Because the other problem is I have separate radius values on Capsule Collider for trigger and Capsule Collider for non-trigger. So what is the Mesh Renderer showing me? Do you see what I'm saying? Like what shape is that even relating to? I know that if the way I think it normally works is if I create a capsule and it comes with a capsule collider, the capsule that the mesh renderer draws is the same shape and size as the default capsule collider that comes with that capsule. However, the caveat is that the capsule collider can be changed to be completely independent of the capsule that the mesh mesh renderer represents. So I can't rely on this mesh representation for the collider because the two aren't one and the same. Which makes me wonder where the fuck, like, so what is mesh renderer even drawing over? Do you know what I mean? That might not mean that pink area might not mean shit, because both colliders can actually be completely independent of that shape and size anyway, which I actually find kind of annoying. You know what I wish is I wish that colliders gave you this view. I wish a collider had a box that said fucking render mesh to show me where the collider is. I want to be able to turn a mesh render on like this, specific to this collider, so I can clearly see the area that it's covering. Because the thing is about these lines, right, is these lines are confusing as shit. I can't really see where those lines end and where they extend out to. It's really difficult to see. And also, which capsule even is that, right? I know this is one of the capsules, but which one is it? And the only way to find out is to start fucking with this. Okay, so it was the wrong capsule then. So I think the capsule that acts as the zombie's pushback, let's call it, .43. Right, so now how can I see my triggers collider area? It needs to be bigger than the main collider. Alright, let's try that. But yeah, I really wish that Unity gave me a little box that I can tick that draws a shape like that pink thing that I'm looking at. But it draws it for that collider, and I can just switch it on and off just to get a better visualization of the exact area that collider is covering. Because those green lines are fucking awful. Like, I can't really see where those green lines extend to. It's really difficult to understand exactly where they're reaching. Yay! Okay, we got it. Yeah. Right, we got it.
It's an easy one.
Alright.
Well, I try and do it in the mirror, but I can't quite get it. Bill can't do it because he's shaking that much. You got it?
No, I'm trying. Just give me a sec. The fiddly is fucking... Oh my god!
Calm down.
Oh, I've had 2 hours of bullshit with this, that's all, so I'm really...
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I'm already kind of wound up by this thing. I've got it working though, so I can actually start to relax now. I say that, I've got a million other... Oh my god, I just can't get it in. I can't. Oh, just give us a sec.
There's a trick on, do not very much to it on the clasp.
It's just awkward as frick. Just give me a sec.
See if I can do it in the mirror again. I'll come back in if I can.
I'm kind of almost at the end of my tether as it is. Oh. Right, we've got it working. I can relax. It's just like you ask me now while I'm already like at the end of my tether with this thing. Right, so it's working again. Just give it one last test because I didn't really get a proper test of it. Right, and they're still maintaining a distance from each other, right? Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. I've never been satisfied. You know what's really annoying about this project is I started with targets all around the city, and I fine-tuned it, and those targets feel amazing to hit. They line up perfectly. It feels great getting those targets around the city. But then, no, despite all my efforts to get closer up range, like the zombie targets and the NPC targets and all that stuff, it's never felt good like it does with the targets in the city. And I wonder if, like, I don't know what it is, because those targets are up high as well, and I wonder if that's somehow interfered with like the trajectory and all the rest of it for when I'm doing closer up targets. And so I've never really been satisfied with how it feels to actually hit these zombies with snowballs. It feels great getting the targets around the city, but like that's the ironic thing about that, right? Is that's the side content and this is the main content. And essentially I feel like I over tuned the side content, and it's adversely affected the main content, and the main, as a result, the main content just doesn't feel good. But anyway, I mean, look, you learn from your mistakes, right? So like if and when I do this again, I think I've got to prioritize like the main thing that I'm doing. Which almost sounds like a fucking no-brainer, doesn't it? But like I don't know, that's just not the way I did it. Because I didn't think they'd be different from each other, right? I thought that like if I thought the targets would be a perfect way to calibrate aiming and auto targets and all this shit. And then when it came to like moving targets like the zombies, I thought everything would be perfect. But it's had the opposite effect. It's almost like the targets are now too well aligned, and I don't know, the zombies are like kind of fucking clunky and awkward. somehow as a result. Right, it's working. This is the best version we've had so far. So let's back it up. Am I happy with it? Not particularly. It's playable, but like it's not really as tuned as I would like it to be, especially with the zombies. But I have an idea of what might help it. I think one of the things that makes it look so weird and shitty and clunky is the fact that the snowball stays solid and bounces off the zombies, and it just looks like this really weak. It looks like a really weak plastic ball or something, like very lightly bouncing off, like, you know, off the enemy. And so it lacks impact. And even when you're hitting the targets around the city, I've always thought the splat map thing that I do, which makes it clear which targets you've hit and also leaves like a snowy, you know, texture on the target. I think that was brilliant. Oh my god, Windows, you've had like an update every day. It's just ridiculous. Where even are you? You said you had a fucking update, didn't you, you little bitch? Yeah. As long as you don't need me to restart. But again, even then, the snowball stays solid and just kind of bounces off the target, and it looks a little bit shit. So what I've been meaning to do, and I think I'm going to do it now, because I think it will help with the feel of the zombie impact, is I have a little plugin that like explodes mesh. I don't know how it will look though. Right, just give me a second while I back this up. Right, I am back. Could do a little something to eat, actually. I'm kind of hungry. Right, let's get back into the project. Right, what this means, though, is I'm going to need to change the prefab. Right, so I have my snowball. Which Miku is kissing for some reason. She's Snowball lover. She likes those frozen lips and chapped lips. Do 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 do. She likes them cold. I gotta try and remember how this works now. Like, why do we have 6 billion trees on it, though? Let's just put that there. Get rid of all this shite. Call that mesh. And I think I duplicate the mesh, and I need a mesh filter. Already contains that component. Okay. Mesh exploder. Also, my animator probably broke. Yeah. It's fine. Let me just figure this out first. I think I put the mesh exploder on. So we have a mesh exploder script, which wants to be off by default. Visual or physics. They're only suitable on very low polygon meshes. Let's make it visual then. The mesh explosion component should not be used directly. Add the mesh exploder component to your object and it will take care of creating the explosion object. And adding the mesh explosion component. So I think I was right the first time around then. So if we call this one explode and give this a mesh exploder, simulate gravity. Yeah, it self-destructs after a set amount of time as well. Alright, see you in a bit. Yeah, also we need to publicly explode the mesh. So my snowball melt animation's fucked. Why is the mesh at a weird angle? So we leave it for a while as it is, and then eventually we... But it won't let me... Oh my god, this is making me so fucking mad. Why is it at a 45-degree angle? Jesus fucking Christ. Everything is such a fucking pain in the fucking ass. I don't know why it's at a 45-degree angle. Why is it adding keyframes? Oh my god, this is making me so mad. Right, fuck you, animator. I want to change this so it's at 0 degrees, not as an animation. Thank you. Now I want to create an animation. God, it makes everything so fucking awkward. Right, then I want to eventually shrink it this way. So it goes flat. So it looks like it melts, basically. And I need to also push it down to the bottom of its respective position. Yeah, something like that. The whole thing wants to be much slower than that. And we basically make it melt into nothing. So after 2 point whatever seconds that is, it slowly starts to melt. What was my original script for it? Right, so I destroy it after 10 seconds. So we wait 10 seconds and then we destroy the snowball. So the whole animation can take about 10 seconds, I guess. Okay, that should be fine. Let's see that. So it stays as a snowball for a while. It slowly melts and disappears. Okay, good. Right, so there's our animation fixed for our melting snowball. And then I need some logic in here that says what I'll do is on the self-destruct script, because I only used the self-destruct script on the snowball, actually. I thought I was going to use it for other things, but I actually didn't. So on the self-destruct script, I'll do a public function which explodes the snowball. And this thing will like destroy itself after 10 seconds anyway, won't it? I also need to enable that game object. Well, let's do a mesh exploder mexploder equals that. And then we can just do mexploder game object set active to true and mexploder explode. There we go. Right. So now what I should be able to do is in any logic that basically involves a snowball hitting something, I can explode the snowball on impact. So let's rename Snowball to Snowball Old, just in case we need it back. And we'll make this new Snowball Snowball. So if I go back to my player character and give... What the fuck? Right, I have no idea why it's getting it straight out of the props folder. That's weird. That is weird. Okay, we'll get it from there instead. Right. So first things first, let's make sure that we didn't break anything. And that we can still do what we need to do with snowballs for now. Oh, also that melt animation, although it should already be set to not be looping. Because it should be left, it should be the same as what it was before. Okay, so we can still throw snowballs. They kind of sink into the ground a bit too much though, don't they, for some weird reason. Yes, they do. So the first problem that they have is unpack the prefab, delete that one, and let's take a look at its collider. I mean, it shouldn't do, but it is. So if we move the collider down, does that fix the issue? It could be that that particular ground is covered by a mesh that doesn't have a collider on it. So other snowballs are going to look like they're floating by comparison if that's the case. I guess we'll find out in a sec. Right, missing object. Give it the snowball. Alright, let's test that. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, if you look at my character's feet, we're actually covered by... So this graveyard grass doesn't have a collider on it, and we're actually... This is a bad place to test it, because we're actually sank into the... There is actually a ground there that we sink into. Doesn't really look like it's floating, though. Maybe it does a little bit, but it always did, to be honest. Let's just get over here, away from this stupid fucking zombie. Yeah, it does a little bit. You can see a gap between the shadow and the... I want to kill somebody, kill somebody, kill somebody. Fine, we'll put it back where it was. Right. Okay, but yes, it seems to work fine. Okay, so now the next thing is... There's a couple of places where the snowball hits things. One is on the NPC collider. So where it hits a zombie here, this is where we want to say other get component self-destruct explode. Similarly here. So let's test that. So now when we just disable it for now in case I need to edit some more. So now when we hit zombies and other NPCs, the snowball should explode to give it a bit more of an impact. Let's see if it works. I didn't really see anything happen. It didn't explode, did it? Yeah. Oh my god, these fucking mechanics are so trash. I don't understand. Like, I'm so sick of trying to tune this fucking thing, and I swear to God, it's like the world's most imbalanceable thing I've ever fucking seen. It's like you put one extra milligram on one end of the seesaw, and the whole fucking thing falls through the floor. Jesus Christ! Right, why isn't that working? It is not a good day today. Is it 3 hours? This has been 3 hours of like just wrestling. Everything's been super fucking awkward today. Right, I want to know when this is being triggered. Snowball explode. Yeah, exploder is fine, whatever. Is that even happening? Jesus Christ. This is what's so annoying about this, right? The happiest I was with this project is when it first started, because like everything was flowing great. I was really happy with these character models. I was really happy with the city. Everything was fitting together beautifully. I was lining up the targets. The targets felt really good. And everything just felt like it was just like, wow, this is going to be a really great game. It feels really, really good. And then everything since then has just been like the opposite. So this game got off to like an amazing start and everything was working great. Yeah, it said Snowball explode, but it doesn't explode. Clearly. And it's obviously very, very difficult. Right, so we are queuing the explode code. But clearly, right, explode is being... You know what it's like? It's like being given a pair of roller skates and then being told, there you go, you see that Mount Everest up there? Yeah, off you go climb it. I was like, well, can I take the rollerblades off and like maybe put some climbing shoes on? No! And then they're like, well, you know, just for asking that, we're going to put fucking axle grease all over the wheels. Like, fuck off. Why is everything such a fucking wrestle? So we're coming through this function. We get the mesh exploder. We don't get a null reference. We get the mesh exploder by finding the explode child object. We get the component of mesh exploder. We activate the game object associated with it so that we activate the mesh. You know what I might also need to do? You know what? That might be what... Maybe that's what's happening. I think I also need to hide the original mesh. I just hate it when everything's uphill on fucking roller skates. Like, when things aren't such a wrestle, it's still fucking hard and challenging, and there's still a shit ton to do, and it's still like, it's still hard. This is never easy. But it's when, like, everything is just being as awkward as it can possibly fucking be. It's still not doing it. Oh my god, how do you get this thing to work? M-Explorer, explode. Why is it not working? God, this is so fucking frustrating. I can't believe how frustrating this is. Right, where's this mesh exploder? What does readme say? Using mesh explosion is extremely simple. Is it? Find one of your game objects with a mesh filter and mesh renderer, or if you're using Unity 4.0 or above, a skin mesh renderer. Add the exploder script to the game object in its component mesh. Did that. Leave the parameters as default for now. Now when you want to make the game object explode, simply need to call explode. I'm doing that! You lying sack of shit. I wonder if it's it does it on mesh though, so it shouldn't even matter what shader we're using. I'm wondering what shader we're using on here. The only thing I can think is maybe Primo Tune shader is somehow interfering with it. We're using the standard shader, so it's not even that. Right. Where's this explode? Is this being called? I've used this before. To be fair, I've used this in 3. This is my 3rd project I'm using this in. And on every single project I've used it in, it's a giant pain in the ass. Which is why I haven't done it up until now. Because I know I wanted to do it, but I also knew it was a giant pain in the ass. So I'm like, I'll do that later. I can't really see because the fucking, I don't know, the snowball just... Honestly, it feels like you may as well just throw, I don't know, this fucking whole thing, Did it work? Snowball exploder triggered. Yeah, we're coming into this script here, so why the fuck is nothing happening? Why is everything such a fucking hassle? I don't know, like, where do I even begin? You know what the main problem with this thing is, right? Is you're supposed to call an explode function, right, publicly in order to get it to do it. Yet they haven't put a single fucking thing in the inspector that will do that for you. Like, how about a fucking bool or something to test it with? I don't know why I'm so... I woke up and I was in a good mood this morning. I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to work on my project. I can't believe how irritated I am right now. I think you can probably tell. I don't know, like, there's a voice in my head saying, just chill out, look, it's going fine, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, I'm just so wound up. I'm so fucking wound up right now. Right. Unpack this prefab. Where the fuck is it? Turn the self-destruct script off completely. We need to figure out how this works and if it fucking works. I know it works because I've used it before, but I also remember that it's a giant pain in the fucking ass. Like, the way I think it should work is, as soon, considering you need a second mesh for it anyway, just make it auto explode when there's a mesh exploder component on it. Like, why do we have to publicly tell it when we want it to explode? I guess I can sort of see why. Like, I could maybe see why if the thing wasn't, if the thing didn't make you get a second mesh anywhere, but the fact that it makes you make a second mesh anywhere, yeah, like, I don't really know what the point in telling it when to explode is. Whatever. It just seems like such a weird fucking way. And also, I hate these. You see this script here? I hate scripts that do this. The script is like hidden, right? So on my scripts, I can double click the script name and go into the code, but it's like they've hidden the script. How are they doing that, by the way? What is the fucking way to do that? Add component menu, mesh exploder. Maybe it's that. If I remove that, does it show me the script? No. Okay, well, I don't know how they're hiding the script, but it's fucking annoying. Whatever, we're in the script now. I'm going to make it so this thing just explodes when it's enabled. Right, so let's do a void on enable. And let's just modify our start to be on enable. Also, this code is such a mess. Look at the state of it. It's fucking awful. Prepare old mesh. Right, once you've prepared the old mesh, just explode the fucking thing. Like, what are we doing? Just explode it. Stop fucking me around. What I could also do is I could make it so that this thing automatically when it's enabled, disables its mesh sibling. So the way I would set this up is I would say public game object mesh to disable, and then on enable we can say mesh to disable. Why hasn't it given me access to that? Because I spelled it wrong. Mesh to disable game object. Well, it's already a game object. Set active to false. Because we already know that this one's been enabled. Right. Now what we can do is set the mesh in the inspector. Are you fucking kidding me? Why is that not showing? Right, what kind of fucking backwards ass script is this? Oh my god, I fucking hate this script so much. I really do. I genuinely hate this fucking script. Why can't I see this public variable in the inspector? Oh my god. I don't know, they're doing some fucking weird ass bullshit with this that makes it look weird in the inspector. I don't know what the fuck they're doing to it. But now I can't even see a public variable in inspector. So whatever they're doing to it, like, just fuck off. Just write a normal script. Your script's shit anyway. Look at the fucking state of it for one thing. And also, like I say, it's just not, it doesn't make any logical sense. Why do you force me to make a second copy of the mesh? And then also force me to call a public fucking variable? It's so weird. And then you also say, oh, don't add the explosion thing. Let us do it. Ugh, and all this shit. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, they made this so convoluted. So I don't know, maybe the way this works. Oh my god, this is driving me insane. Let's not fuck with this script too much, because clearly they've done weird ass shit to it that I don't understand. That's stuff that I don't do to my scripts. That's causing it to look weird in the inspector. And we can't add public variables to the fucking inspector. So who knows what else we can't do. Maybe trying to exploit it on enable is gonna, like, it's not ready to do that yet or something. I don't know. Let's just leave this thing alone, I guess, and see if we can figure out how to get the thing to fucking explode. Right, well, here's another way we can do it. For now... Good god, this is so convoluted. It's just unbelievably convoluted. Like, it's you're exploding a mesh, like, chill out. We're not, like, setting up fucking, a 3D world's terrain management system. It's a fucking mesh exploder. Jesus Christ, get over yourself. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? I wish I knew. So for now, because I don't want it to melt, and I don't want it to self-destruct anytime soon. We'll set it to 9,999. I just want to test this thing and get it to work. And have you seen how long it's taken me just to set this up? It's so ridiculous. Right, I'm going to do a public bool, and when I tick explode, I'm going to cause it to explode so we can figure out what the fuck is going wrong. If explode equals false, so we don't do it on every fucking frame, and then explode. Right, now I can manually trigger the explosion in the inspector, which is what the fucking component should do anyway, but whatever. Everything has to be arse backwards, doesn't it? Okay, let's see if we can blow it up. Right, so it did do it. But we still see the original mesh. Even though I disabled the original mesh. So what are we even looking at? Because the mesh is disabled. So whatever this stupid component is doing, it's created another copy of the snowball that we can see. Well, why? How does that make sense? And it's the actual exploder. So the way I think it wants to work... How convoluted can you get? Good God. It's really easy to use. Fuck off. If you're retarded maybe and you've got a fucking backwards ass brain. Jesus Christ. Why would they set it up like this? It's so weird. So here's how I think it wants to work, and they don't explain any of this. Not only do you have to manually explode it and do all these other billions of things, right, but also, right, so Mesh Exploder wants to now just equal transform find mesh get component exploder. We no longer disable the mesh game object because if we do that, we disable the exploder. What we do want to do, considering this game object is already active, we don't want to do that either. We want to call explode, but what we also want to do is get the mesh renderer because they don't turn it off, which is just weird that they don't turn it off. Because they don't turn off the original mesh renderer, and I assume they're making a copy and a new mesh renderer at runtime or something, because nothing I do in the inspector affects it. But turning the mesh renderer off turns off the original Snowball model. So mesh renderer enabled equals false is what I think we need to do. And then call explode. It's really easy to use! On what planet? Fucking planet moron. Right. So now when we hit explode, there we go. It does what we want. I don't know how anybody can think that's easy to use or how that's logical at all, but whatever. Now we know how it works. And no wonder it always takes me so long to get it working. Because I can't believe how convoluted that is. That's so fucking weird. Right, so if we go back to our zombies now, we already called this explode script. So we no longer care about being able to do it in the inspector, to be completely honest. So we can get rid of that and we can get rid of that. So now it should be good, but we need to replace the prefab. And I like how they don't explain any of this in the documentation. Simply add a component and then call explode. No. No. I mean, yeah, kind of, but also you've forgot to mention that we need to turn the original mesh renderer off. Don't make a second copy of the mesh because we're going to do that during runtime. And good luck if you want to edit any of the script for your own inspector, because like we've fucked with it to the point where you won't be able to. Anyway, whatever. Fuck. I forgot to turn those back on. I swear I'm going to calm down eventually. But things need to start going smoother than this for it to happen. Because if things continue to be this fucking awkward, I swear my blood's going to boil. Right. Where is our Snowball prefab reference? There it is. Right. Okay, now let's see if the Snowball explodes when we hit the zombies. Because I think it'll feel a lot better. I still kind of want to tune it a bit more though. Like it still doesn't quite go where I want it to. Yay! Actually, that looks pretty good. Wow, that looks really good, actually. I mean, it was a pain in the ass to set up, but it does look good. It really does. Okay, it won't do it on targets, but it should also do it on NPCs. So that's another thing that's broken. My NPC position saving mechanism isn't working, so I need to look at that. I don't know why. So I think all the NPCs are like stood out in the street here somewhere where they originally were, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that looks so much better. Make a little sound effect to go with it as well. So now I just need to add it for targets. So that it does it there as well. Right, so target hit. We have a script for that. You know what, let me do one more thing to that. So let's add an audio component. Do we have like a... I wish I could be more patient, but I've never really been patient. I've always had very little patience. I don't think it's something... I think it's just the way you are as well. Like I thought I would have more patience. I have got a lot more patience now I'm older. Believe it or not. But like, I mean, it's like you've got to realize as well though. This is like being, what are we? 3 hours, 3.5 hours of like just, like wrestling with the most insane, awkward shit. So like, it's not like I just like it's not like I just get immediately this angry in 10 minutes. Like it takes a few hours now at least. But yeah, like once I'm wound up, like, wow, it takes a while for me to kind of unwind. Okay. Let's see what kind of sounds we can get. Not too bad. Sounds more like Ted Bundy stabbing his victim or something. The first one was better. That does not sound like snowballs. What about this one? Oh, that one. I like that one. It's very sizzly. Yeah, let's get this one. There will be an update because there's always an update. Told you. Go on, fine. We still got our sound effect. I want to break free. I want to break free from Unity, but I don't want to use Unreal or Godot. I guess I should program my own game engine. God, can you imagine how frustrating that would be? It might not be that bad, actually. The thing is, though, right? Because I get mad. That's the other thing that makes me mad, right? It's always other people's stuff that makes me mad. Like, I don't get mad. That sounds kind of psychotic. I think it's because I'm a control freak, right? So, like, I do get mad at myself sometimes, but it takes quite a lot. Because I'm like, I know I can just kind of deal with my own shit, right? It's like I could just go in and fix it, right? If it's my own thing, I can eventually just go in and fix it. And it might be hard and it might take ages and it might be frustrating. But like, I still ultimately have control. I'm still pulling the strings and I can still fix it and get it working. But other people's shit makes me really, really mad. Especially the more locked down it is. Because like, it's so much harder to get in there and start unraveling somebody else's shit to fix it or whatever. And then sometimes you just can't. It's like, I don't know, if Unity doesn't do what it's supposed to do, for example, then I'm fucked, right? I can't really do much about that. I just got to work around it or, you know, deal with it in some way. So that frustrates me the most because like I have no control over that. So I feel like making my own game engine would be frustrating. There's no doubt. It would be awful, I think. But the payoff would be huge, because like if I ever got it working quite well, and it was, you know, every time it didn't do something I wanted it to do, well, I'd just go in and make it do what I want it to do, right? Then that's the beauty of it. So like eventually, I think it would get to a point where I'm like, oh my god, my game engine's perfect. It does exactly what I want it to do and how I want it to do it. But I think it would take a very long time to get there. So yeah, kind of weird. Like I think that would be something that would be. It would. I feel like it would be like a couple of years of pure hell, and then if I was successful after that first couple of years of like getting it together, I feel like it would be all like uphill from there, whatever you would call it. It would all be like smooth sailing after that. Well, I should never say that. Nothing's ever smooth sailing, but you know what I mean. Like it would only just like be continuously better and better the more I move forward with it. Okay, so we're gonna get this snowball impact sound effect into our game. Okay, let's just go hunting for it, I guess. Why is it such a small window? Come on, don't be shy. Open up. Snowball impact. You know, at one point I was considering calling this project that. I was like, oh, maybe I should like. It should be like a spoof of Genshin Impact, and I could call it Snowball Impact. So Snowball Impact was floating around my head as a potential name for this for a while, but I thought, nah, I'm tired of like doing the whole spoof thing all the time. So what we can do is we can add an audio component, and we'll give it the snowball impact. And we'll say don't play on awake, and then when we explode in our self-destruct script, we will play. Right, what I need is a reference to that mesh. This is what I should have done anyway. Maybe it should even just be a transform. And then I could say mesh exploder is mesh t get component, then mesh t get component, and then we can say mesh t get component audio source play. Yeah, it's also kind of incredible how effective sound can be in games and stuff. Like how much of a difference that can make. I don't know if I want to enter that 100% volume. I'll set it to 0.9 for now. All right, let's see it and hear it with the impact sound effect. I think it'll make quite a big difference actually. That is pretty good. I mean, I need zombie noises and stuff as well. I do wonder if 0.9 is too loud. I can go into the prefab and turn it down a bit. Maybe 0.7. Let's go test it on the NPCs. You know what I want as well? What's that meme sound effect? Oof! You know where they make that oof? Oh, that's got to be on here somewhere. Oof meme. No, I want the actual sound. So that was actually from Roblox. It's not going to be like copyright or anything though, is it? Like people use it for memes and stuff, so I can't imagine you can get done for using it. That's got to be the sound that plays. So it came from Roblox apparently, originally. It would just be some kid, won't it? Like in his project that he added it in, and it just... Imagine being the kid who did that noise though. Like now everybody uses it. It's kind of cool actually. Until he grows up to become a billionaire and sues me for using his voice without his permission. Yes. Then I won't be saying it's cool. I'll be like, no. I'm sure that won't happen. That's the... Oh, that's good. That's perfect. Okay. Getting hit.npc. Okay, so back in our NPC collider script, this is where this happens. Now, our NPCs don't actually have audio components on them. I guess I could add one, though. There we go. All right, let's test that. And then once we add music and stuff, it should be pretty cool. Yeah, that does feel a lot better, though. I thought it would, because, like, I think the worst part of the Snowball was seeing how, like, pathetically it just kind of rolled off the zombie and then just kind of, you know, like, floated down to the ground or whatever. And it just felt like it lacked impact. But I think already with the sound effect in the explosion, because I thought it would, like, it feels much better. Yeah, that feels so much better. I mean, look at it. What a difference that made. Like, nothing's changed about the original physics of the Snowball, obviously. But just that effect alone is like, now it actually feels like, you know, you're a little bit more like you're a force to be reckoned with, you know? Kind of. Where are all the NPCs hiding out? You can't actually hit Miku. Miku doesn't have a target on her. That's actually fun now. Okay, this is good. I can't believe what a difference that's made, actually. That's made such a difference. Can I get like 3 at once? I was lined up waiting for me to hit them. I'm actually amazed how much more fun this all feels just by adding that. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better about things. Right, we still need to do the city targets though. Also, that target sound is way too loud. I can't remember where I play that sound now, actually. Sound effects. Set active to false. Set active to true. So I'm looking for a target script. It's target child. Must be on here. No, it's actually not. Huh. God, it's quite a while ago when I set this up now. Where the fuck did I put that? SFX. So there should be a game object called SFX somewhere. Oh, there's an SFX game object on every single target. Just to make life annoying. There's the volume. There we go. Okay. I did do it that way. Okay, that should reduce the volume on that. And then, how do we get... I mean, we simply need to do the same thing we did on NPC Collider, though. Which is that. Okay, that should do it, I think. Yeah, I'm actually, I got to admit, I'm slightly surprised. Like, I thought it would help adding the exploding snowball. I thought it would help make it feel better hitting the zombies and stuff. But even I'm sort of surprised how much that's helped. Like, that actually feels good now. That really does. That actually feels... That's satisfying now. And it's crazy, isn't it? Just by adding a sound effect and like a visual effect to the snowball. That's all I did. And now it just feels so much better. That's nice as well. Holy shit. Yeah, like bring it on. That's actually great. I'm actually kind of amazed how much of a difference that's made. Okay, I'm feeling much better about the project now because like it was feeling kind of like it was kind of depressing. But that feels so much better now. All right. Well, there you go. That's made a huge difference. Yeah, I'm so happy with that. I'm just gonna back it up actually. I got to admit, like I'm so surprised how much of a difference that's made. Like I had a feeling it would help, but like holy shit, I didn't think it was gonna make that much of a difference, to be honest. But now it almost feels like a completely different mechanic or a completely different game. And it makes me realize actually that like it shows how many tricks that game developers must be using to pull certain things off. That like even if one aspect, even if like one layer or whatever isn't quite perfect, you can sort of like, you know, throw things on top of it to get a sort of get a better overall effect. And yeah, that's crazy how effective that turned out to be. Right, I will rename copy to copy 2. We'll make another backup copy. I might take a short break, go and get something to eat, go make a cup of tea, and I'll be back on in a bit. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better about things now. So yeah, that was, what was that, 4 hours? That was a bit of a rough 4 hours. Like, it was, everything was super awkward. But like, the results are what matters, I think. And the results are actually, they exceeded my expectations. Which is kind of nuts. Because even just 20 minutes ago, I felt like crying. I was like, oh, I'm so tired of trying to tune this. And like, I just felt like, it really mattered where the snowball hit the zombie. And it felt like the snowball was hitting the zombie too high up or too low down or something. And I've been trying to change it and get it where I want it to hit. But I think that matters a lot less than I thought it did. And when I add these effects now, so like, I've learned something today. I've learned that, like, you know, maybe don't get too laser focused on some of the smaller details sometimes, because they might not be as important as I think they are. So it's, and a good metaphor for that, or analogy or whatever, is, you know, when people say that like something like a game is bigger than the sum of its parts, right? A lot of the times things are bigger than the sums of their parts, and this is a great example of that. Like, stitching all those things together, the sound effects, the visual effects, you know, and then just getting the mechanics working well enough, when they all come together, like, they actually make a very satisfying experience. Even though I felt the opposite even earlier today. I felt like, oh my god, this is going to be the worst game ever. But yeah, actually, that's made a hell of a difference. Alright, we're backing that up. I'm going to leave it there, go get something to eat, go and get a drink, go take a little break. I might even jump in the shower, actually. I'll be back on in probably an hour or so. And we'll get back to it, because there's still loads to do. But it's getting there. It's getting there. Alright, I'll leave it there. Bye. What did I click? I clicked the wrong thing.